Coming up today on the VO Life, it's a little different. We're going to talk about winter and your mental health as you're working through these cold days. We'll be right back.
You are listening to the VO Life with Troy Holden.
Hey, it's Troy Holden. Welcome to the VO Life. Today we are jumping into a short topic as we start a run of winter shorts. No, I don't wear shorts in the winter. A lot of people do. I've got a relative that wears shorts and flip-flops. I don't care if it's 14 degrees outside. I'm sure he had them on today, and it's freaking cold here today. But this topic is especially relevant for voice actors working from home, really anybody working from home, because winter brings very unique challenges, and this is new to me in my third year being full-time and working all the time at home. I've really made a lot of adjustments the last couple of years, but if you'll take the right strategy, you can stay mentally and physically well. So what I want to invite you to do is grab up your favorite warm beverage and even a cold beverage if that's what you'd rather have. And let's dive into a little touch of mental health during these winter months. Well, let's start by acknowledging there are unique challenges during the winter and working at home. It's different. The days are shorter. There's way less sunlight. The confined space of being in your booth a lot can affect you energy-wise, creativity-wise, motivation-wise. And if you add to that, throw in the potential isolation of working alone, no wonder and no surprise that many of us get stressed or we get down or depressed this time of year. Winter can bring it on. A lot of depression, right? Can't get outside, can't do the things you normally do. You can, but you got to put on 40 layers of clothes and it ain't fun. But listen, don't worry. There are some ways you can counter all these effects and you can go out and thrive even in these coldest of months. You know, your booth is where the magic happens. It's where you make the money. So making it the most comfortable and conducive to wellness is a big deal. Now, the first thing that I did is when I put this booth in the bedroom, I turned the window in the booth to the window to the outside. I can pull the curtain in the booth. I can close it if I'm doing a session or if I feel like there's some reflection on the glass if I'm recording. But my booth is a 6x6, so I do almost all my work in here, my desk work, my follow-ups, my cold calling. I do it all sitting in here. So I open the booth door, I pull back the curtains, and I feel like I'm just sitting in a cubicle in an office space. It's not bad at all. Make sure, you get the light going. Light therapy is a good thing. That will help you combat seasonal affective disorder. There is a thing, SAD. Check it out. The other thing is to stay comfortable. Sometimes a small space will get chilly. If you need a space heater, get a space heater. I'll tell you another thing that works, and it's kind of weird. They make some oversized heating pads that are used like put around your back. You can put one of those in your chair if you tend to get cold. That way you don't have any noise, no fan noise, and it'll keep you warm. It really makes a difference. The other thing is optimizing air quality. Whether it is a humidifier to get moisture in the air, I find I need that in the winter. I'm dry right now. I'm sure you can tell my voice is a little dried out and crackly, or however that sounds. It's not natural vocal fry. It is enhanced vocal fry. I have in my room, not in my booth, I have an air purifier. A humidifier is great, but what I use is the Vicks steamer to kind of open things up and put that, that moisture into my head. And I'll do that sometimes twice a day. Some days I don't use it, but most days I kind of have to. So work on that air quality, whether it, like I said, humidifier, air purifier, whatever you need. Another thing is trying to stick to a routine. And for me, that's harder in the winter. I like to stay up later at night and sleep later because we'll watch TV later at night. In the mornings, it's like, it's just harder to get up in the cold weather. So it can blur boundaries between your personal and professional life. And that can get really difficult. Here's what I do to offset that, and it might help you. I set clear work hours, or especially get up in the morning hours. I set my alarm for 7. I'm usually awake before. And there are times I go, look, I slept terrible. I'm going to give it another 30 minutes. I usually end up getting up at 7:15 anyway. Even though I say, I'm going to set the alarm for 7:30, I'm going to get 30 more minutes, and that'll make a big difference. I'll doze off for just a minute. I'll do one of those, wake up, and then I'm up. Another thing, if you're in the habit of doing it, and I have a routine every morning, jump in the shower. That helps open you up, moisturizes all your passages, your sinuses, your throat. Breathe in that nice steamy water, air, whatever you want to call it. I think that helps. But have that routine and do that every day. My routine is I'm up, I do the shower, get dressed, grab my stuff, I go in the kitchen, I make sure the Keurig has water in it, turn it on to heat, feed the cats. Actually, I let the dog out of the storage room first this time of year because he's in there to stay warm at night. And then I do all that other. Then I'm laying out my medicine, taking my pills in the morning, got my coffee fixed, and I'm off to the booth. I don't eat first thing in the morning. I don't eat till around 10:30. And I stay in that routine almost 7 days a week. I may not get up as early on Saturday and Sunday, but I'm usually up pretty early. The next thing I do is come in and do some really quick warm-ups. And my warm-ups, I use the vowels, A-E-I-O-U. And I say them out loud and exaggerate my mouth movements, very wide open to stretch muscles. A-E-I-O-U. And I know that sounds stupid, but if you'll do that and really exaggerate your movements and then go louder and go quieter. And I will do that, and I may, if I don't feel like it loosen me up, I might sing a little bit, but that's it. Once I got that knocked out, then I'm chasing my email, trying to see what's available on the online casting. Is there anything I should audition for or not? And I dive into that. I look at my calendar. What's going on today? Does anybody have a doctor's appointment? Am I going to be out? My calendar takes care of that where people can't book on top of it, because I ask when a client says, hey, I want to do a directed session, I have a link I send them, and it ties into my Google Calendar, and if there's anything on there, it'll block that time. And I also make sure, if a doctor's appointment's 2:00, I don't put 2:00, I put 1:30. So in the 1:30 entry, I put it's a 2:00 doctor appointment. I know it's going to take an hour, and I'll give it another 30 minute, depending on how far I'm driving, and I'll block all of that so I don't get in trouble with a live session. Some of you know I use Calendly, and Calendly looks at my Google Calendar, and you can adjust different things in Calendly for the time. So for live sessions, it's pretty much 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, and I even have weekends on there if it's needed. It's seldom, if ever, but I have done a video game session on a Saturday morning because the client was in another country. It happens. But I have that in there pretty wide open. Other things in there, like if you're booking a consult with me, it's only certain days of the week and certain hours. I try to limit that because I don't want to get overwhelmed with having all this stuff going on and cluttering my calendar. That helps. Next, what do you do? Take regular breaks. I get out of this booth every couple of hours, sometimes sooner. Stretch, hydrate, go outside, take a quick walk, even if it's just, a few hundred yards back and forth. Anything to get the heart pumping, make you feel better, breathe, and hydrate. Hydrate. I keep 4 to 6 bottles in my booth all the time of water. Deer Park, you hear me preach about Deer Park water because it's good for your heart. It's got minerals in it. You don't want water. It's been boiled, distilled, and all that, not for drinking. It's great for other stuff, not for drinking. Get your Deer Park or Deer Park equivalent water, natural spring water with all the elements still in it. You need that stuff. But moving your body, and it's very essential. You got to get up and move. I talked about, vocal exercises. If you can do those and incorporate physical movement, like stretch while you're doing that. I will sometimes, I'll reach and take my elbow and push my arm up high because I'm trying to keep my upper body loose. I'll do some turns, some bends, and some things like that while I'm doing my AEIOUs. It helps. If you can get in the habit of making a couple of those breaks a fitness break, take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, go walk. If you have some small 3-5 pound weights, use those. Squats, even just putting your arms out straight like the old Jack LaLanne stuff. And we're seeing a big comeback in that stuff. Movement is just as important or more important than like conditioning and weightlifting and stuff. You're going to see a lot of stuff on these ads where people are just doing chair exercises. And folks, I'm telling you, every bit of movement helps. Another thing too, a standing desk is awesome. If you have a standing desk, try to stand more. And alternate back and forth. What I find is when I'm doing some research, I'd rather stand. I don't like to stand a lot when I'm auditioning or doing things like that, but if I'm doing research and going through and looking at websites and doing this and that, if I stand, I can find myself leaning back and forth and, doing some things to be moving around. Plus, it just breaks the monotony. It's good for you. Another thing is being careful with isolation. It can sneak up on you, especially in these colder months. One big way to combat that is online voice acting communities, places to share experiences, contacting with your peers, Zoom calls, get 2 or 3 people together. Even if you're in a accountability group and you only meet, say, once a month, say, could we start meeting once a week just to shoot the bull? Because just talking to somebody feels better. Make it a coffee chat. Or I don't care if you make it a beer chat or a Jack Daniels chat, but have some kind of session with other creatives where you can talk through some things. It really helps. Another thing that's really great is reaching out to friends and loved ones, people that you haven't talked to or you should talk to more. I do that through text sometimes, but I do that through a call. I have a routine that I call my mother every other day. She is a soon-to-be 88 years old, and I want to talk to her every day or every other day and make sure everything's okay. And my brother is on a schedule. He calls her the alternate days. So we, that way we are both calling. It's not hard to do. It's just something you got to make yourself do it and remember to do it. Another important thing is having some self-compassion because we have a lot of tough days. So you need to be kind to yourself. You need to celebrate your wins. If you nailed something that was challenging or you booked something great, celebrate that. You hadn't got to overblow it, but just say, hey, booked a good one today. It really helped my attitude and I'm really pumped. Can't wait to get this one recorded. It's, we're doing the session next week. And you ain't got to say names or dollars or anything. It's just the fact of, hey, I got something, And then on the other hand, allow yourself to rest. I've had days that 11 o'clock, I'm like, man, I'm tired. Go take a nap. Winter is the best time to slow down. It's okay. In the summer, I won't do that. I feel energized and want to get outside and do more. Also consider some mindful practices like, if you like to do this, meditation, deep breathing, yoga, those type of things that will ground you. I like to sometimes just put my head down and think about, how lucky I am to be able to do what I do. And then think about how it could be if I was somewhere, else working like I used to and how tiring that was and how thankful I am to be able to have those calendars and build around my calendar and do the things that I need to do for my family. I think it's great. I'm sure there's many, many other things that may be on your mind to do, but I hope this was helpful for you. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of The VO Life, and I hope some of these things help you embrace the coziness of winter while keeping your mental health and your vocal health a priority. And remember, small changes lead to big improvements. If you found all of this helpful, please don't forget, subscribe, comment, share with a friend, leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. But for now, stay warm, stay well, and I'll see you next time on The VO Life.
This has been The VO Life with Troy Holden on Spotify, Apple, Google, and more.